Melachim Aleph, or First Kings, chapter 9. And it came to be, when Shlomo had finished building the house of Yehovah and the house of the sovereign, and all the desire of Shlomo, which he was pleased to do, that Yehovah appeared to Shlomo the second time, as he had appeared to him at Gibeon. And Yehovah said to him, I have heard your prayer and your supplication that you have made before me. I have set this house apart, which you've built to put my name there forever, and my eyes and my heart shall always be there. And you, if you walk before me as your father David walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I have commanded you, if you guard my laws and my right rulings, then I shall establish the throne of your reign over Israel forever, as I promised David your father, saying, there is not to cease a man of yours on the throne of Israel. If you at all turn back, you or your sons, from following me, and do not guard my commands, my laws, which I've set before you, but shall go and serve other mighty ones and bow yourselves to them, then I shall cut off Israel from the face of the soil which I have given them, and send them away from my presence, this house which I have set apart for my name. And Israel shall be a proverb and a mockery among all the peoples. And this house, which has been exalted, everyone who passes by it shall be astonished and hiss and say, why has Yehovah done this to this land and to this house? Then they shall say, because they've forsaken Yehovah their Elohim, who brought their fathers out of the land of Mitzrayim. And they took hold of other mighty ones and bowed themselves to them and served them. That is why Yehovah has brought all this evil on them. And it came to be at the end of 20 years that Shlomo had built the two houses, the house of Yehovah and the house of the sovereign. Hiram, the sovereign of Tsor, had supplied Shlomo with cedar and cypress and gold as much as he desired. Then sovereign Shlomo gave Hiram 20 cities in the land of Galil. And Hiram came from Tsor to see the cities which Shlomo had given him, but they were not right in his eyes. And he said, what are these cities you've given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul, as they are to this day. And Hiram sent the sovereign 120 talents of gold. And this is the purpose of the compulsory labor which sovereign Shlomo raised to build the house of Yehovah, and his own house, and Millo, and the wall of Yerushalayim, and Hatzor, and Megiddo, and Gezer. Pharaoh, sovereign of Mitzrayim, had gone up and taken Gezer, and burned it with fire, and had killed the Canaanites who dwelt in the city, and had given it as a payment for the bride to his daughter, Shlomo's wife. And Shlomo built Gezer, and Lower Beth Horon, and Baalath, and Tamar in the wilderness in the land of Yehudah, and all the storage cities that Shlomo had, and cities for his chariots, and cities for his cavalry, and whatever Shlomo desired to build in Yerushalayim, and in Lebanon, and in all the land of his rule. All the people who were left of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, who were not of the children of Israel, their descendants, who were left in the land after them, whom the children of Israel had not been able to destroy completely, from these Shlomo raised compulsory labor, as it is to this day. But Shlomo did not make slaves of the children of Israel because they were men of battle, and his servants, and his rulers, and his officers, and commanders of his chariots, and his cavalry. These were the chiefs of the officials who were over the work of Shlomo, 550, who ruled over the people who did the work. But the daughter of Pharaoh came up from the city of David to build her house that he built for her. Then he built Millo. And 3 times a year Shlomo brought ascending offerings and peace offerings on the slaughter place which he had built for Yehovah. And he burned incense with that which was before Yehovah, thus gave completeness to the house. And sovereign Shlomo built a fleet of ships at Etzion Geber, which is near Eloth, on the shore of the Sea of Reeds in the land of Edom. And Hiram sent his servants with the fleet, seamen who knew the sea, to work with the servants of Shlomo. And they went to Ophir and took 420 talents of gold from there and brought it to sovereign Shlomo. Second Chronicles, chapter 8. And it came to be at the end of 20 years that Shlomo had built the house of Yehovah and his own house. As to the cities which Hiram had given to Shlomo, Shlomo had built them, and he settled the children of Israel there. And Shlomo went to Hamath, Zobah, and took hold of it. And he built Tadmor in the wilderness, and all the storage cities which he built in Hamath. And he built Upper Beth Horon and Lower Beth Horon, cities of defense, with walls, gates, and bars. Also Baalath and all the storage cities that Shlomo had, and all the chariot cities, and the cities of the cavalry, and all that Shlomo desired to build in Jerusalem and in Lebanon, and in all the land of his rule. All the people who were left of the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, who were not of Israel, their descendants who were left in the land after them, whom the children of Israel did not destroy, from these Shlomo raised compulsory labor as it is to this day. And Shlomo did not make slaves of the children of Israel for his work, but they were men of battle, and chiefs of his officers, and commanders of his chariots and his cavalry. And these were the chiefs of the officials of the sovereign Shlomo, 250 who ruled over the people. And Shlomo brought the daughter of Pharaoh up from the city of David to the house he had built for her, for he said, "My wife does not dwell in the house of David, sovereign of Israel, for the place where the ark of Yehovah has come is set apart." Then Shlomo offered ascending offerings to Yehovah on the slaughter place of Yehovah, which he had built before the porch, even as the duty of every day required, offering according to the command of Moshe, for the Sabbaths, and for the new moons, and for the appointed times, 3 times a year, the festival of Matzot, the festival of Shavuot, and the festival of Sukkot. And according to the rulings of David his father, he appointed the divisions of the priests for their service, the Levites for their duties, to praise and serve before the priests, as the duty of each day required, and the gatekeepers by their divisions at each gate, for so is the command of David, the man of Elohim. And they did not turn aside from the command of the sovereign to the priests and Levites concerning any matter or concerning the treasuries. And all the work of Shlomo was prepared from the day of the foundation of the house of Yehovah until it was completed. And the house of Yehovah was perfected. Then Shlomo went to Etzion Geber and Eloth on the sea-coast in the land of Edom. And Hiram sent him ships by the hand of his servants, and servants who knew the sea. And they went with the servants of Shlomo to Ophir, and took 450 talents of gold from there, and brought it to sovereign Shlomo.